No one expected the billionaire to stop her motorcade for a man covered in sawdust. People expected another camera moment. Another rich executive handing cash to someone struggling. But what happened next left an entire city speechless. The single father looked at the envelope in her hand. He smiled with quiet respect. Then he shook his head. "I can't accept money that costs me my dignity." The street fell silent. Even the reporters forgot to ask questions. The billionaire CEO stared at him as if she had never heard the word "no" before. His young daughter gently slipped her hand into his. She never looked afraid. She only looked proud. That single moment changed every life standing on that sidewalk. Before we go deeper into this story, take a second and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let us know where you're watching from. I'm curious to know how far these stories travel. But why would a father with almost nothing walk away from an offer that could have changed everything? Every morning before the sun came up, Noah Milford unlocked the door to his small workshop. The building was old. The roof leaked when it rained. The floor creaked with every step. Still, it was the one place where he felt at peace. Pieces of broken furniture filled every corner. Most people looked at those worn tables and cracked chairs and saw junk. Noah saw another chance. His hands were rough from years of sanding wood. Tiny cuts covered his fingers. He never complained. Each repaired piece helped pay another bill. Each finished job meant another meal for his daughter. Layla Milford was 10 years old. She loved walking to the workshop after school. She always carried a book under one arm and a smile that made the long days feel shorter. She believed every chair had a story. She believed every table remembered the families who gathered around it. Noah often laughed when she said things like that. Then he realized she truly meant every word. After losing his wife, silence had become part of their home. Some evenings felt heavier than others. There were nights when Noah sat alone after Layla fell asleep. He looked at unpaid bills spread across the kitchen table. He quietly counted the money in his wallet. Then he counted it again, hoping the numbers would somehow change. They never did. Still, every morning he got back to work. He refused to let Layla see fear take over his heart. She already carried enough sadness after losing her mother. She deserved laughter. She deserved hope. Even if Noah had to hide his own worries to protect her. Their apartment was small. The paint had faded years ago. The heater worked only when it wanted to. But Layla covered the walls with colorful drawings. Some showed trees. Some showed birds. Many showed her parents smiling together. Noah never took those pictures down. They reminded him why he kept moving forward. Across the street, Chloe Berry opened her neighborhood bakery before sunrise. The smell of fresh bread drifted through the block every morning. She noticed Noah leaving for work almost every day. She also noticed he never asked anyone for help. Instead of offering pity, Chloe found another way. She placed one of Noah's restored wooden stools near the bakery window. Customers admired it while waiting for coffee. Soon they began asking who had made it. Chloe smiled every time. She proudly told them about the quiet craftsman across the street. Little by little, more people visited Noah's workshop. The extra work helped. It never made him rich. But it kept the lights on. Layla loved stopping by the bakery after school. Chloe always saved one warm cinnamon roll for her. Layla thanked her every single time. Noah insisted on paying whenever he could. Chloe never argued. She respected his pride. One afternoon, Layla watched her father carefully polish an old rocking chair. "Dad," she asked softly, "why do you fix things that other people throw away?" Noah smiled without looking up. "Because everything deserves someone who believes it's worth saving." Layla thought about those words for a long moment. Then she quietly replied, "I think people are like that too." Noah stopped sanding. For just a second, emotion filled his eyes. His daughter had a way of seeing people that most adults had forgotten. She noticed kindness before wealth. She noticed honesty before success. Those simple lessons stayed with Noah long after the workday ended. He had no idea that someone far beyond their neighborhood was about to notice those same qualities. And before another sunset arrived, one unexpected encounter would test everything he believed about pride, survival, and the true value of a person's character. The next morning began like every other. Noah Milford swept the floor of his workshop. He lined up his tools. He checked the list of repairs waiting to be finished. Layla Milford waved goodbye as she walked towards school. She turned around twice just to make sure her father was smiling. He always was. Even on the hardest days. Around noon, Chloe Berry hurried across the street with a worried look. "Noah," she said, "you should bring that dining table to the downtown business expo." Noah looked up from his work. "I don't think people at an event like that are looking for someone like me. They're looking for quality," Chloe replied. "And that's exactly what you build." After a moment of silence, Noah agreed. He loaded the restored table into his old pickup truck. The drive across town felt longer than usual. Luxury cars filled the parking lot. People in expensive suits walked through the entrance carrying polished displays and glossy brochures. Noah carried his table by hand. A few people glanced at his worn work boots. Others noticed the faded shirt covered with tiny wood stains. Some smiled politely. Others looked away. He found a small corner where he could display his work. For nearly an hour, very few people stopped. Most visitors hurried toward the larger exhibits. Noah remained patient. He had learned long ago that good work did not need loud advertising. Then everything changed. Several black vehicles pulled up outside the building. Security officers stepped into position. Conversation slowed. Heads turned toward the entrance. Brianna Blackwell had arrived. The Billionaire CEO was known across the country. She had built an empire from almost nothing. People admired her success. Many also feared her sharp business instincts. Beside her walked Natalie Watts. Every step Natalie took looked carefully planned. Every smile seemed designed for the cameras already waiting. Behind them followed Leo Richards. The longtime chauffeur remained quiet. He observed people more than he spoke to them. Brianna moved through the expo with confidence. Company owners rushed forward hoping for a handshake. Some offered gifts. Others offered business proposals. Natalie politely accepted every brochure before quickly moving on. When Brianna reached Noah's display, she stopped without saying a word. Her eyes rested on the old dining table. She slowly ran her hand across the smooth wood. "This was broken?" she asked. "It was ready for the landfill," Noah answered. "But I thought it still had something to give." Brianna nodded. She looked impressed. Natalie stepped closer. "We should buy every piece he has," she whispered. "It would make a wonderful public story. A billionaire supporting a struggling single father." Several reporters nearby immediately lifted their cameras. Naomi Pierce, an investigative journalist covering the event, raised her notebook. She expected another predictable headline. Another wealthy executive writing a large check while photographers captured every angle. Brianna looked at Noah. "I'd like to help you," she said. Without waiting for his answer, Natalie removed an envelope from her bag. It was thick. Everyone nearby knew what it meant. The room became unusually quiet. People leaned closer. Some smiled. Others whispered that Noah's problems were finally over. Layla had just arrived from school with Chloe. She squeezed through the growing crowd until she stood beside her father. She looked up at him. Then she looked at the envelope. Noah took a slow breath. His eyes met Brianna's. The cameras flashed. Every person in the room waited for the same answer. But the words that came out of Noah's mouth were the last thing anyone expected to hear. And before the silence broke, one sentence would leave the billionaire questioning everything she believed about money. The room stayed silent for several long seconds. Noah Milford looked at the envelope in Brianna Blackwell's hand. Then he gently folded his hands behind his back. "I appreciate your kindness," he said. "But I can't accept money I didn't earn." Gasps spread across the business expo. Several people looked at one another in disbelief. A few reporters lowered their cameras, unsure they had heard him correctly. Natalie Watts forced a polite smile. "I'm not sure you understand," she said. "This isn't a loan. It's a gift." Noah nodded. "I understand. That's why I have to say no." Natalie stepped closer. "You have a daughter. You have bills. Everyone here knows life has been hard for you. Why make things harder?" Noah glanced at Layla. She smiled at him without saying a word. He turned back to Natalie. "My daughter is learning from every choice I make. If I teach her that respect can be traded for sympathy, I'll lose something money can't replace." The crowd became even quieter. Naomi Pierce kept writing. She had arrived expecting a story about generosity. Instead, she was watching a man defend his dignity in front of the most powerful business leader in the room. Brianna did not speak. She simply watched Noah's face. There was no anger. No prideful performance. Only quiet honesty. Leo Richards stood a few steps behind her. He leaned toward Brianna and spoke softly. "You've spent years watching people chase your money. This might be the first person chasing his own peace instead." His words stayed with her. Natalie noticed the cameras were still recording. She quickly addressed the reporters. "Mr. Milford is simply overwhelmed. Perhaps we can continue this conversation privately." Noah shook his head. "My answer won't change in private." The sentence landed harder than anyone expected. By evening, short video clips from the expo had spread across social media. People argued over what they had seen. Some called Noah foolish. Others called him proud. Many wondered how anyone struggling to survive could refuse a life-changing amount of money. The comments became louder than the truth. The next morning, Noah unlocked his workshop as usual. He hoped life would return to normal. Instead, strangers were already waiting outside. Some wanted pictures. Some wanted interviews. Others simply wanted to stare. A man laughed as Noah walked past. "Too good for free money, huh?" Another shook his head. "Your daughter could have had a better life." Those words hurt more than Noah admitted. Inside the workshop, he tried to focus on repairing a rocking chair. His hands felt unusually heavy. For the first time in years, he questioned himself. Had he made the right decision? He remembered the stack of unpaid bills at home. He remembered Layla's worn sneakers. He remembered the rent due next week. His heart felt pulled in two directions. One side wanted relief. The other refused to surrender his principles. That afternoon, Chloe Berry brought fresh sandwiches to the workshop. She found Noah sitting quietly beside an unfinished cabinet. "You look tired," she said. "So does my conscience," Noah answered. She sat beside him. "You didn't refuse kindness. You refused pity. There's a difference." Noah looked down at the floor. "I just hope Layla never pays the price for my choice." Before Chloe could answer, Layla ran into the workshop after school. She wrapped her arms around her father. "My teacher saw the video," she said. Noah's shoulders tightened. "Were the kids mean to you?" Layla shrugged. "A few were. One boy said we were too poor to say no to a billionaire." Noah closed his eyes. Those words cut deeper than anything the adults had said. Layla gently touched his arm. "But I told him something." Noah smiled sadly. "What did you tell him?" She looked straight into his eyes. "I told him my dad fixes broken things. He doesn't become one." The workshop fell silent again. Chloe wiped away a tear before anyone noticed. Noah hugged his daughter tighter than ever before. Still, outside those workshop walls, the pressure continued to grow. Natalie refused to let the story end this way. She believed every public moment could become a business opportunity. She convinced herself Noah would eventually give in if enough pressure was applied. Meanwhile, Brianna sat alone in the back seat of her car, replaying the encounter again and again. For the first time in many years, she questioned whether success had taught her the wrong lesson about people. Then Naomi Pierce uncovered something in Noah's past that no one else knew. She immediately picked up her phone. The person she decided to call first would change every life connected to this story. Naomi Pierce sat quietly in her office long after everyone else had gone home. Old newspaper files and public records covered her desk. She had been searching for proof that Noah Milford was hiding something. Instead, she found something entirely different. Years earlier, before his wife passed away, Noah had quietly repaired furniture for a small shelter that housed struggling families. He had refused every payment they offered. When one director thanked him in public, Noah had asked to keep his name out of the story. He simply wanted the children to have safe beds and sturdy tables. Naomi leaned back in her chair. The man everyone called stubborn had been living by the same values for years. The next morning, she requested an interview with Brianna Blackwell. Brianna expected another discussion about the rejected money. Instead, Naomi placed the old records on the table. "This is the part of Noah's story no one bothered to learn," she said. "He doesn't refuse help because he's proud. He refuses anything that makes people feel smaller than they already are." Brianna slowly turned each page. The room grew quiet. Leo Richards stood near the door. He watched Brianna's expression soften with every document. After a long silence, he spoke. "Respect isn't something you can hand to a person. It's something you choose to give." Those words settled deeply in Brianna's heart. For the first time in years, she realized she had been solving problems with money instead of understanding people. She asked Leo to drive her somewhere without informing the media or her executives. When they arrived, the black car stopped outside Noah's workshop. No cameras waited outside. No reporters followed. Only the sound of sandpaper moving across wood filled the room. Noah looked up as Brianna stepped inside. She carried nothing in her hands. No envelope. No contract. No photographers. Only a quiet smile. "I'm not here to offer you money," she said. "I'm here to ask you a question." Noah set down his tools. She looked around the workshop before meeting his eyes. "What would it take," she asked softly, "for someone like me to earn your respect?" Before Noah could answer, Layla walked in from school. She looked at Brianna, smiled, and said, "Maybe you could start by letting Dad teach you how to fix something instead of buying a new one." Brianna laughed through tears. In that simple moment, she realized the greatest lesson of her life had come from a little girl whose family owned almost nothing. And Noah's answer to her question would shape a future neither of them could have imagined. Noah Milford looked at Brianna Blackwell for a long moment. Then he smiled. "If you truly want my respect," he said, "don't change my life with a gift. Help more people earn the chance to change their own." The words settled over the workshop like a gentle breeze. Brianna nodded without hesitation. "I think I finally understand." Over the next several weeks, she kept her promise. There were no press conferences. No giant checks. No carefully planned photo opportunities. Natalie Watts argued that the company was missing a perfect public relations campaign. Brianna disagreed. "This isn't about our image," she said. "It's about doing the right thing." Natalie had no answer. Instead of offering Noah money, Brianna offered him something different. She invited him to help design a program that restored old furniture while training single parents to learn a skilled trade. Every participant would earn a fair wage. Every piece they restored would be sold through local businesses. Noah accepted. Not because someone had rescued him, but because someone had finally respected the way he wanted to help others. Chloe Berry proudly displayed the restored furniture inside her bakery. Customers came for fresh bread. They stayed to admire the handmade work. Many placed orders. Some even volunteered to support the new workshop. Leo Richards visited often. He joked that he had spent years driving people to meetings where nothing meaningful happened. Now he looked forward to stopping by a dusty workshop that changed lives every day. Naomi Pierce published the complete story. She did not write about a billionaire saving a poor father. She wrote about a father whose quiet integrity reminded a billionaire that character could never be purchased. The article touched thousands of readers. Not because of wealth, but because of honesty. Life slowly became easier for Noah and Layla. Their apartment was still simple. Their laughter became louder. The unpaid bills no longer filled the kitchen table. More important, their peace remained untouched. One evening, Layla watched her father finish another rocking chair. She smiled. "You fixed it again." Noah looked at the smooth wood and gently nodded. So did a few other people. Outside the workshop, Brianna paused before getting into her car. She realized she had arrived hoping to change one family's future. Instead, that family had changed hers. And the greatest investment she had ever made was not measured in dollars, but in the dignity she had finally learned to protect. Some stories end with a paycheck. Some end with applause. This one ended with something far more valuable. Noah Milford never became known because he accepted a billionaire's money. He became known because he protected the one thing no hardship could take from him: his dignity. Layla Milford never measured her father by the size of his bank account. She measured him by the promises he kept and the example he lived every single day. Brianna Blackwell discovered that respect cannot be bought. It must be earned through humility, honesty, and the willingness to listen. Naomi Pierce found the story she had been searching for. Not a headline about wealth, but a reminder that the strongest people are often the quietest. Chloe Berry proved that real kindness creates opportunities instead of dependence. Leo Richards watched one simple conversation change more lives than years of expensive business deals. Even Natalie Watts learned that not every victory can be measured by publicity or profit. Sometimes the greatest success is becoming a better person. Before we finish this story, I would love to hear your point of view. If you were standing where Noah stood, with your child beside you and that envelope in front of you, what would you have done? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if Layla's quiet wisdom touched your heart the most, tell us why. Your words might encourage another parent who needs hope today. Stories like this remind us that life can become difficult without warning. But character is built one choice at a time. No matter how hard the road becomes, kindness, honesty, and self-respect still matter. They have a way of changing hearts when nothing else can. If this story moved you, please take a moment to give this video a like. It truly helps our channel reach more people who need stories filled with hope. If you're a single parent, or if you know someone carrying that responsibility every day, we'd love to hear from you. Share your experience in the comments. Your story could inspire someone who feels alone. And if you enjoy emotional stories about courage, faith, resilience, and second chances, don't forget to subscribe to The Redeemed Single Dad. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Your support, your comments, and your kindness mean more than you know. Until our next story, take care of the people you love, never underestimate the power of quiet integrity, and remember that the greatest victories are often the ones no amount of money can ever buy. We'll see you in the next story here on The Redeemed Single Dad.